Hello and welcome back to r/entitled parents. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoy.
I divorced my ex-husband because of my mother-in-law, and suddenly he wants back in. I'll be rambling a little as I am very mad right now. Sorry for my bad English, it is not my first language. My ex and I were married for well over 5 years, and together for 10. His mother was a nightmare. She would spend her time belittling me and tried humiliating me. I could take it as I loved my husband, and I didn't want to make him choose between me or her. Of course, I would always tell him what she would be doing, and he would always brush it off as her being a loving and overprotecting mum. When she would say something prejudiced, I'm Hispanic and they are white, he would laugh it off. When she would make a comment of me being a gold digger, even though I earned more than my ex, he would just say, "Oh, mum." He would also get mad at me if I ever stood up for myself. But the straw that broke the camel's back is when we had our daughter. My mother-in-law would always try to parent her and say that I was doing something wrong. My daughter has an irritable colon, and she cannot ingest any kind of freaking oils or artificial things. And guess what this loony of a woman did? She fed my 3-year-old daughter essential oils. She is not anti-vax, by the way, just pro-stupid. She did this to make my daughter go to sleep. So, I had to take my daughter to the ICU. I had it, so I confronted my husband, who said, "She only did what she thought was best." I lost it. I went to my parents and drafted a divorce agreement. That's the best course of action. I saw a post earlier describing a situation that was much more dangerous than mine, involving allergens and an EpiPen. His face was like that surprised Pikachu meme when I served him. He didn't know why I was doing that, because he thought we were happy. So now a year has passed and my life was hell. My monster-in-law tried every dirty trick in the book to take my daughter. To name a few, she accused my brother of being inappropriate to my daughter. She accused me of neglect. She accused me of substance abuse and leaving him in the reach of a toddler. This was my medication, for heaven's sakes. She accused me of endangering my daughter by leaving random men in my house. The list goes on. During this time, the excuse of my ex was that I broke his heart, and I had to understand his mother. She only wants what's best for him. Luckily, I got good representation, and even got my daughter full-time minus some weekends or visitation. I could prove that my daughter was endangered by his mother. So now, to the advice part. I knew that my ex needed to be permanently in my life because of my daughter, and I was learning to live with that. He was very cold with me because, again, I broke his heart. But now 2 things have come together. My ex-brother-in-law got married to an African-American woman, so of course my ex-mother-in-law flipped. And also, I've started dating again. My brother-in-law is a great guy, and he actually stood up for his wife. I know, right? Go figure. I guess it is possible. I stay in contact with him because we are friends. He was a mediator and fought with his brother quite often. So, my brother-in-law actually stood up for his wife, and my ex-husband got his panties in a twist. My brother-in-law basically opened his eyes to how crappy he was being, and that their mum treated me the same way she treated his wife. And finally, now my dense ex started understanding. The guy I'm seeing is great. I have even met his parents, and his mother is normal. She treats me like a normal human, and has invited me already to many family functions, and tries to make me and my daughter feel welcomed. My ex got wind of the situation through a mutual friend, and guess who is now flipping their crap? He started bringing flowers and chocolates, I don't even like chocolate, to pick up our daughter. Now he sends me cards and messages with hearts and who knows what. Yesterday was the best thing. My daughter was at my mother's place and I was at home with my boyfriend. He appears at the front of my door crying and clutching my engagement ring, begging me to come back. I said no and that he should go away. He wouldn't and started demanding that I come out to talk to him. My boyfriend told him that he would call the police, and in his pathetic fashion, he threatened to beat up my boyfriend. I closed the door and let him pound sand. Today he picked up my daughter for a day trip, and when they came back, my daughter was asking if I loved my boyfriend more than her. Now I'm at a loss of what to do. I already told my daughter that that was impossible because my love for her is infinite, and there's no bigger number than infinite. But now I know that my ex is trying to make my daughter hate me, and I'm at a loss because I'm not going to use my daughter as ammunition. But also, what the hell am I supposed to do? I will never return with that man, but I also can't stand the father of my daughter. Do you guys have any advice? Mini update. Thanks to you all, I needed to vent and was feeling helpless, and I'm so thankful for all you wonderful people. I have talked to my lawyer now, who's confirmed that we could have a case for domestic violence by proxy. A social worker will be visiting us in the next few days to talk to my daughter about this. Edit. Because apparently people want to spin the world narrative on me. I don't care if he wants me back. I don't love him anymore, and I will never get back together with him. And saying that it's for the sake of our daughter would not make sense, as it has been proven that kids grow up happier in divorced homes than unhappy homes. I tried talking to my husband when we were still married, and he would always brush it off. He would brush off everything his mother did. I complained to him and told him we needed to go to therapy, which he declined. This is the result of it. He has his daughter on the weekends. The court gave me majority custody because of his mother. Geez, you guys, I guess in some of you guys' eyes, I should have kept being by my ex's side as a submissive bimbo. So I'm glad that OP's moved on and is not trying to go back to him. He does not deserve her sympathy, and yeah, she's living a good life and he's just envious, and then once they're back together, he'll probably take her for granted again. But fear not, we have a surprise update. I just posted here yesterday, but it feels like weeks have happened. So I've just left my daughter with my mother and I'm going to my lawyer again. I followed some advice you guys gave me, and we sat down with my daughter to chit-chat. We knew we couldn't prompt any kind of responses by asking overly specific questions as per her therapist. So my mother asks my daughter, let's call her Kat, Kat, what do you and Daddy talk about? And Kat just listed many toddler things, like she talks about kindergarten, games. So I started to get kind of relieved that perhaps that comment my ex made yesterday may just be a one-off. But then came the big bomb. He also shows me pictures of houses and tells me I can have 2 rooms now with loads of stuff. I ask her if Dad is buying a new house. Nope. Turns out that the nut wants to take my daughter out of the country. He shows her pictures of beach houses and even bought her a big bag already, so she can put her stuff inside of it, which explains why so many of her clothes have gone missing. At first, I thought that my ex maybe hadn't told me yet because it hadn't come through. But no, he told my daughter to keep this a secret, because Mummy would get sad if she knew what Daddy was going away. So now I am livid, and also sad because I'll have to tell my daughter no. Once again, I feel lost. Update. I talked to my lawyer and we have taken measures that I can't discuss, but we are on it. I have my daughter's passport as we flew last month to visit extended family. Also, I am a US citizen, so even if my ex-mother-in-law tried to have me deported, that would not be possible. Final update. I divorced my husband because of my mother-in-law, and now he wants back in. So I thought of giving you the last update as you helped me through this. I didn't have enough evidence to request an ex parte, aka emergency child custody. So my lawyer and I had to work on steps to prevent child abduction. We got a custody decree that included provisions including passports, travel restrictions, etc. We also had to be very wary of the signs. He in fact quit his job. And on a realtor's page, I saw that he was putting his mother's house up for sale. That, and my daughter's words, were all we needed to notify law enforcement for them to keep an eye out. I couldn't prevent my daughter from seeing her father, however, but we tried to continue business as usual without my daughter feeling something was up. I got a call from the police department regarding the passport situation. My daughter's passport had expired very recently. It only had 5 years validity. My ex-husband had tried to request a passport for my daughter without my knowledge, which was stupid because even without the decree, I had to be present or submit a notarized document of me stating that he could request the passport. After that, things went actually very fast. He was investigated because he violated the decree, and it was found out that mother-in-law had bought 3 tickets with no return date to Mexico. I could request an ex parte. After a crap ton of documents, I submitted it. In most cases, the judge will evaluate behind closed doors. We had the hearing yesterday. It usually takes 10 to 20 days, which was very good for me. At the moment, I have sole custody for my daughter. This is all temporary. My ex has visitation rights if I am present, but he can't take her anywhere. This is once the investigation of him is closed. I was cursed out by my ex and my ex-mother-in-law, and they said they'll try to contest this, but they have no leg to stand on. My daughter will continue in therapy, especially after this. I will not stop him from seeing his daughter, but he needs help. This was really scary and a very intense 2 weeks. I don't think that I'll update again, but I wanted to thank you all for your tips and support. I'm really thankful, as I'm finally not anxious the whole time. Thank you very much. I think OP's done a great job of creating all this documentation and setting up a paper trail, because I think she dodged a bullet by getting away from that family and being able to collate the information before it was, too late. Yeah, that's terrifying. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.